Today, we are going to find out how many times the Geneva Conventions are broken in Mario Party. The Geneva Conventions define the protections given to non-combatants during wartime. My goal is to play every minigame to find each time the Geneva Conventions are broken. Now, the conventions are broken up into 4 sections, one each for armed forces that are wounded and sick in the field, wounded, sick, and shipwrecked at sea, prisoners of war, and for civilians. The conventions also have 3 additional protocols, giving extra protections to victims of combat. To start, Mario Party does a great job at protecting the wounded and sick in the field, as they do not break a single article in that section. Bravo! The whole point of Mushroom Mix-Up is for Toad to attempt to drown us until there is one left. It feels oddly similar to Squid Games. Toad's control over us violates Article 12, granting the Shipwrecked protection and care. Since Toad violated one article, he immediately violates the first article, which demands respect for the convention. Now, after the engagement, Toad and whoever funds his death games is legally required to search for casualties under Article 18. And after looking at his excitement, I don't see that happening. Also, Article 11 of the first protocol is violated, since dropping the mushroom tops puts the physical health of the players in danger, and is our first official war crime in these minigames. Bombs Away violates similar articles. However, since this is a direct attack, we can comfortably assume that those who get hit are permanently dead, meaning Article 20 is instantly broken, since whoever is attacking us has to be the one to confirm our death with a medical examination. And since this isn't exactly a normal situation to be in, Article 46 granting the protection in unforeseen cases is broken. Also, murdering the Shipwrecked is a grave breach of the Geneva Conventions, which gives us back-to-back war crimes. Shy Guy Says breaks the same articles, but includes Article 47 and Article 20 of Protocol 1, which grants protection against retaliation. Just because I got one wrong does not mean you can just leave me out to sea. That covers us for the Shipwrecked, but now we are on to our biggest section. In Sneak and Snore, if we assume the room we are in is the only one we are held in, then Mario Party instantly breaks 11 separate articles of the Geneva Conventions, including Article 38, which requires open spaces and equipment for games or sports, as well as Article 41, requiring the Geneva Conventions to be posted within the confines of the camp. Getting put into a barrel is a form of punishment, which breaks Articles 88 and 89 due to the brutal nature of the punishment. And since this punishment was not pronounced by a court, then Articles 102, 105, 106, 107, and 108 are all broken due to the lack of a court case for the character to defend himself. Also, if we assume that the character dies while being captured by the Chain Chomp, then Article 120 is broken since the characters are buried in a collective grave when not necessary, as well as 121 because an inquiry was not opened on the cause of death by a sentry. Sneak and Store in total violates 36 separate articles of the Geneva Conventions, and while doing so commits a war crime. Now, if we don't assume death, then the characters drop somewhere from the pipe, then they clearly fall into Cheep Chase, which is our first case of an evacuation. However, Article 20 is broken since the conditions of the evacuation are not done humanely, since there is no access to food, as well as endangering the health of the characters, breaking Article 13. Bowser's Big Blast is just one big torture chamber, but this is also a confirmed death from explosive head.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Breaking Article 100, since simply making a mistake on pushing the wrong lever down should not constitute death, as well as Article 101, which requires at least 6 months from sentencing to execution. Article 36 of Protocol 1 is also violated, since the Big Bomb Head is a new weapon that is prohibited due to causing unnecessary suffering. Catch You Letter involves prisoners of war in the labor battle, and picking up letters on the ground to give to a Shy Guy purposely running away from you is in violation of Article 52 regarding dangerous or humiliating labor. I also have no change in my bank account, meaning this is in violation of Article 62 requiring working pay, and 64 requiring an opening of an account for each prisoner. Trapeze Artist is a bit of a role reversal, as the Goombas are actually the prisoners of war, and since there is a clear hierarchy within the Goombas, Article 44 is violated since the Goomba officers are not treated with regard to their rank. Article 39 is broken since the camp is not under the authority of a responsible commissioned officer. It is very obvious that no one is in charge here. Article 42 bans the use of weapons against prisoners of war, which is broken since the cages could be used as a guillotine. The instant the Goombas are placed in cages, cages, articles protecting against inhumane punishment are all instantly broken the second the cage goes down. At the end of the game, the Goombas are allowed to run free. However, Article 119 is violated, since upon the release of the Goombas, they are legally allowed to take any parcels home up to 25 kilograms. However, they are forced to leave instantly. This innocent-looking game breaks 31 articles of the Geneva Conventions. Monty's revenge turns the characters back into the prisoners, and this violates Article 23, which is meant to protect prisoners of war from being exposed to fire of the combat zone, as well as 42, since Monty Mole's hammer is a banned weapon. Dark and Crispy violates Article 13, which requires humane treatment of prisoners of war, as well as Article 36 of Protocol 1, since Bowser is a weapon that causes unnecessary suffering. Pit Boss violates Article 23, placing prisoners in the combat zone, as well as 42, since the big spiky balls is the use of a banned weapon. Also, Article 97 is broken when the eliminated players are placed into cages, which does not conform to sanitary requirements on the premises of a punishment. Moving on to the 1v3 games, Piranha Pursuit is an active escape attempt from a prisoner of war, and getting hit by PD while caught violates Article 92, which bans violence after the capture of an unsuccessful escape attempt. Arch Arrival violates Article 16, requiring the equality of treatment of prisoners of war of similar rank, which is violated when the player gets stuck between the edge and the computer, while the other two can roam free. Boulder Ball, Skewer Scurry, and Two Bit or Lose It all violate Article 42, banning the use of weapons. However, to give credit where credit is due, Two Bit or Lose It does a great job of following Article 38, allowing for prisoners of war to engage in sports and recreational activities. In 2v2 games, Dungeon Dash and Dungeon Duos each individually violate 11 different articles of the Geneva Conventions, most notably Article 23, leaving the characters in the combat zone. Reverse a Bomb and Burn Style both involve the use of a weapon, while Burn Style also violates Article 21, which bans the restriction of movement, and launching players into oblivion is also an official war crime. Cake Factory involves prisoners of war in the workforce. However, at the same time, it violates Article 52, protecting prisoners of war from working in a dangerous workplace. You simply cannot put Wario in front of all these cakes and not expect him to get fat. Rocky Road also deals with hard labor. However, for either game, there is no official proof of pay to the prisoners of war, instantly violating all articles requiring a fair working rate for prisoners. Paint Misbehaving is a reversal of roles, as the Goombas are our prisoners working for us. This game breaks Article 49, which bans forced labor, since we did not give the Goombas much of an option here. This also violates the use of weapons, humiliating labor, and required working pay. Article 57 grants protection to prisoners of war working for private employers, which is instantly violated when we are spraying them with our all over their. Also, Article 78, allowing prisoners of war to complain and make requests about their labor, is violated, as no such requests will be taken here. Now, finally, onto our last section, it's time to deal with the civilians. Roll Call deals with the working conditions of civilians. Since there is no agreement of pay for their work, the characters violate Article 40 and 51, as well as Article 95, since this is forced work. However, when we switch the scenery to the Bob-ombs, there is one minor detail that completely changes things. The bombs committing seppuku because of the conditions of labor violates multiple articles, including Article 32, which prohibits murder, as well as Articles 129 and 130, since the will of the bomb-bombs was not transmitted immediately, and the cremation of the bodies was not done in a respectful way. Also, 131 is violated, since this was a shady-ass death and no formal investigation took place. All of the coin minigames involve forced work, but there is one minigame that can involve the death of a character. Quicksand Cash violates Article 27, since it rips the respect from each person. But when a character falls through the center, that is instantly a murder, violating Articles 32, 129, 130, 131, 146, and 147. In total, Mario Party violated 88 articles of the Geneva Conventions, a total of 378 times, resulting in 10 separate war crimes. Now let me know if there's anything else you want me to look into. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you enjoyed this.